This is what peak season looks like at Walt Disney World in 2026. And the most disturbing part? The people running this place aren't panicking. They planned it this way.
If you are booking a trip to a Disney park, all that magic is about to get a lot more expensive. Magic ain't free, people.
What's happening now is Disney is an incredibly expensive and incredibly magical experience.
Main Street, USA. Third week of February 2026. Peak season. School break. The monorail still glides overhead. Cinderella Castle still shines at the end of the boulevard. The pretzel stand is still open. But the line for Space Mountain? 6 minutes long. A father near the curb is hunched over his phone, frantically tapping through the Lightning Lane booking screen before availability disappears. Because at Walt Disney World in 2026, even the privilege of skipping the line costs extra money. And the most uncomfortable truth in that scene is this. The executives running this company are not alarmed by the quiet. The emptier-than-expected Tuesday afternoon is not a crisis to solve. It is the destination. Walt Disney World has welcomed more than 1 billion visitors since it opened in 1971. Right now, fewer people are walking through its gates than at any point since the pandemic. And the single number from Disney's own annual report that explains why the company is completely fine with that is something every American family planning a summer vacation this year needs to hear before they book a single hotel room. Here's what happened, here's what changed, and here's why it matters. To understand the machine Disney built, you have to go back to a piece of Florida swampland. In the mid-1960s, Walt Disney quietly purchased 27,433 acres of land outside Orlando through a web of shell companies. He deliberately hid the buyer's identity so that land prices wouldn't spike overnight. And the plan was never simply a theme park. Walt's true vision was Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Not a ride, not an attraction. A functioning American city of 20,000 residents built around a radial design, run by private industry, organized around the idea that the future could be orderly and hopeful and open to everyone. He recorded a film laying out the entire concept in October of 1966. 2 months later, he was dead. Lung cancer, 65 years old. The city of the future died with him. His older brother Roy stepped back out of retirement and made one demand. The project would carry the family name. So Walt Disney World was born, not as a city, but as a theme park. Magic Kingdom opened October 1st, 1971. Construction cost $400 million. A single-day ticket, $3.50. By 1998, the resort had grown into 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, more than 20 hotels, and a transportation system spanning a property roughly twice the size of Manhattan. By 2019, 58 million people visited in a single year. Magic Kingdom alone drew 20.9 million guests, more than any other theme park anywhere on Earth. And through all of it, the pricing math kept running quietly in the background. That $3.50 ticket from 1971, adjusted purely for inflation, it would cost around $27 today. A peak day Magic Kingdom ticket in 2025 was listed at $189. Over 5 decades, Disney's average annual price increase has been 7.4% year after year, decade after decade, consistently outrunning inflation in every direction. The baseline cost of a Disney World vacation for a family of 4 now sits at approximately $7,093. That number includes tickets, a mid-tier on-property hotel, basic dining, and transportation. It does not include the upgrade that used to be free. For 22 consecutive years, Disney offered a system called FastPass, no charge, included with your park admission. You walked up to a kiosk, grabbed a paper ticket with a return window, came back at the designated time, and walked past the standby line. Simple. Families built entire 5-day itineraries around it. Travel bloggers wrote thousands of guides explaining how to maximize it. It was the closest thing the modern Disney experience had to a democratic feature, available to every single guest, regardless of what they spent on their room. In October of 2021, Disney eliminated it entirely and replaced it with a bill. The new system, called Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, charges between $18 and $35 per person, per day, just to access the skip the line feature for most attractions. Premium rides carry an additional individual charge of $7 to $25 per person, per ride. On a crowded day, a family of 4 can spend $240 on line skipping alone, before lunch. Bloomberg's reporting found that guests described the new system as too expensive, technically unreliable, and nearly impossible to navigate without being locked to their phones for the entire visit. And then, there is a line buried deep inside the Lightning Lane terms of service that almost no guest ever reads. Users are required to agree that posted wait times may not be accurate. Let that sit for a moment. As the FAR noted in its 2022 coverage, Disney now has a direct financial incentive to make standby queues appear longer than they actually are. The longer a line looks, the more willing a guest becomes to pay to skip it. The number on the sign at the entrance to the ride is no longer purely a measurement. In some cases, it functions as a sales tool. Be honest, does that change how you see the park? Drop your answer in the comments. And once Disney started charging for what used to be free, fewer people came. Magic Kingdom drew 20.9 million visitors in 2019. By 2024, that number had fallen to 17.84 million, a drop of 15.1%. Animal Kingdom fell even harder, down 36.7% from its peak. In fiscal year 2025, domestic attendance slipped another 1%, leaving the parks effectively flat over 2 years, well below pre-pandemic highs. International tourism into the United States declined for 8 straight months through December of 2025. Canadian visitation to Florida specifically was down 20% compared to 2019 levels. Disney acknowledged on its February 2026 earnings call that international attendance has not returned to pre-pandemic numbers, and may not for years. Meanwhile, the rides themselves started disappearing. Tom Sawyer Island, an opening day attraction from 1971, was permanently closed in July of 2025. Dinoland USA shut down for good in February of 2026. Construction walls went up where Villains Land and 2 new Cars attractions will eventually emerge. But Disney has not opened an entirely new theme park in the Orlando area since 1998. 28 years without a new park. While Disney was managing its inventory down, Universal opened Epic Universe in May of 2025, a brand new 750-acre megapark with 50 attractions. The first major new theme park to open in Orlando in a quarter century. Families who once defaulted to Disney now had a legitimate alternative. And yet, a 2024 Lending Tree survey found that 45% of parents with children under 18 had taken on debt to fund a Disney trip. Average debt per family, $1,983. That figure was up from 30% just 2 years earlier. Here's the number that makes that even harder to process. Of the parents who went into debt for the trip, 59% said they had no regrets. Now there's a question worth sitting with. Which side are you on? Worth every penny, or the most expensive mistake of the year? Say it in the comments. Disney World still pulls in roughly 49 million visitors per year across all its parks. Magic Kingdom is still the single most visited theme park on the planet. Hotel bookings for 2026 were pacing 5% ahead of the prior year, even as attendance remained soft. These are not the numbers of a business in decline. In fiscal year 2025, Disney Experiences, the division that runs the parks, hotels, and cruise line, posted a record $10 billion in operating income. Domestic attendance was down 1% in the same period. Per guest spending was up 5%. Read those two numbers together. That's the entire story. Disney made more money than it ever has in its history by hosting fewer guests, each one paying significantly more. The attendance decline didn't hurt the bottom line. It was simply compensated by charging the remaining visitors more for tickets, food, hotels, merchandise, and upcharges. The $3.50 ticket that would cost $27 today if it had only tracked inflation now costs up to $189. The FastPass that was free for 22 years is now a layered paid system that can cost hundreds of dollars per family visit. The standby line became a revenue opportunity, and the quiet Tuesday afternoon became a deliberate product of yield management. What is happening at Walt Disney World is not unique to Disney. It is what happens when any large American institution discovers it can generate more profit by serving a smaller, wealthier customer base. The airlines figured it out first. The hotel chains followed. Streaming services are working through it right now. Disney just executed it in a context personal enough, childhood, memory, family, that people finally started paying attention. Walt Disney bought 27,000 acres of Florida swamp because he believed in building something where the future felt hopeful and everyone was invited. The city he envisioned was never built. What stands there now is the most profitable theme park operation in human history. And it became that by slowly, deliberately, systematically narrowing the door. Until the version of Walt Disney World where a working-class family from Ohio could drive down, stay on property for a week, and drive home without a payment plan, became a memory. That is not a failure of execution. That is a choice. And it is the most expensive choice the American family vacation has ever been asked to absorb. If this story made you feel something, hit that like button. And if you think Disney is still worth every dollar, or if you think this is corporate greed dressed up in fairy dust, the comment section is open. I want to hear where you actually stand. If you've made it this far, you already know the answer. The magic is still there. The question is who it's for now. Subscribe if you want more stories like this, where the real numbers tell a different story than the marketing does.